Hi guys, so just a quick preface before I continue my voiceover of my review for Red Rising and makeup look inspired by Red Rising. I was going to throw on like my two red wigs. I have a longer red wig that you've probably seen a lot more of in comparison to my shorter red wig, which reminds me of Anne Robinson, so I don't use that as often. But I've just styled my hair, completely forgetting I was going to do that, and I don't feel like crushing my style because I've actually got to go out in like an hour and a half. But when I come home, once like everything's dry and I've worn this style for the day, I might, if I feel like it, if I'm not too hot, because it's like 30 degrees today, and if I remember, I might come back and just chuck a wig on and show you what it looks. But just bear in mind that the makeup look would have been worn, so it would have looked not as good, hopefully, as I'm hoping it to look whilst I'm doing it and whilst it's fresh, if that makes sense. So you might have a treat at the end, you might not, if me in a wig is a treat for you. But yeah, let's get on to this actual look and the voiceover of my review. I'm also trying out Jefree Star's Blood Sugar palette. I'm so excited. So yeah, this is going to be difficult. I did want to kind of do a talk through using this, but then I couldn't obviously do my review because I don't know, I can't multitask and do it like that. But yeah, just know that I'm really excited, so I might be putting stupid faces. Packaging, amazing. I might as well just say this here. Yeah, it's so cute. It's so cute.
Hello guys, so I have come here today to do a book inspired look again. So this one I have done for Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Let me quickly check because I don't actually have it to hand. I was right, Pierce Brown, yes. And I'm actually going to be using the Jefree Star Blood Sugar palette that I got, I want to say like month or two ago now, so I have used it since this video. It just takes me a while every now and then to actually make the voiceovers and edit the video together. So you've probably seen this look already on my Instagram, as well as other looks where I've used the palette. But anyway, yeah, so I kind of had the idea to do this, even though I wasn't entirely sure about how I felt about the book when I decided that I wanted to do a makeup look. But I had some striking keywords in my head that I felt like best described this book, and then of course that sparked the inspiration for the makeup look. Those words were barbaric brutality, which I feel like was shown in the use of the red hues, obviously. The Blood Sugar palette is full of those colours, and the winged out kind of style of it, which makes sense for the story as a metaphor for justice and literal wings, which you'll understand if you read the book. I've also got the word elitism that was in my head, another strong theme that was in this book, so I highlighted that with the gold accents to reflect the gold society. Again, something that will make sense if you decide to read the book, or if you've already read the book and you're just checking out my review. But yeah, in terms of a review of the palette itself, didn't stain my eyes, but some of the brushes had a slight tint to them, as you'd expect for some, you know, pigmented shades like that. I really like the colours. I feel like some of them could have done with more depth, but then again that's because of the colours I probably chose. I didn't choose a dark enough colour, but I really liked how nicely they blend out. I thought they looked absolutely stunning. The colour scheme itself, all the different reds, and I just absolutely love that, absolutely love it, especially with the shimmers and everything. So yeah, that's just like my quick review on that. I believe, if I remember correctly, I already did a review on the packaging and stuff, but I can't remember. Anyway, to review the actual book, so Red Rising is part of what I believe to be like a six series book now. Originally it was just a trilogy, and then they expanded that to 4 books, then 5 books, and I think currently we're waiting for a 6th book. I have no idea, but I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I will say there are trigger warnings for rape and lots of death in this book, so please don't go into this book if you have you know, things that could trigger you, such as those. So I will say this took me the standard 50 pages to slowly get into the story, but before that happened I really wasn't enjoying it. I was so put off by the lurid comments aimed at young wives, and the whole younger age thing just really had me uncomfortable in general. There was this particular quote that one of the uncles said. It said, "Old enough to screw, old enough to crew," and I just thought that's actually kind of gross, especially in the context of me feeling uncomfortable anyway. So I didn't really like that. I did expect it would take me ages to read because I wasn't picking up a rhythm in good time, and it really was frustrating. But nevertheless, I still was intrigued by the whole storyline. I was hoping I'd enjoy it, particularly because I was really intrigued by how mythology would work in a sci-fi. It also made me chuckle because I just read Valis by Philip K. Dick. Also got a look on that if you're interested, I'll link it in the cards, which also juggled those themes, so I was like, this is crazy, I wonder how this one handles it. But yeah, after it taking me a while to get into, I felt like once I did get into it, I really flew through pages very fast. It was like a sort of, I guess, a sci-fi medieval brutal Big Brother, but I feel like that description doesn't do it justice, so kind of take that with a pinch of salt. I started liking the story itself more, I think, when I began to connect with some of the characters and the minds, and now in a different setting I enjoyed it more as scenes of, familiarity cropped up, things with like highlands and stuff like that usually pique my interest in fantasy books. But yeah, it's not very spacey, sci-fi heavy in that kind of respect. It's just, I don't know, it definitely feels like a sci-fi, but not like that. It's really weird. It's almost like, I don't know, it's really strange. I certainly didn't expect any of this just from looking at the map. I had completely different ideas as to what the houses meant, so the plot may throw you through a loop, but that just might be myself because I didn't properly read the synopsis, so I probably had all these ideas in my head that were completely irrelevant to the actual plot line. So, yeah, I had some characters and some situations in here that just had me thinking of Percy Jackson, and then that kind of made me like it even more, because I was like, another thing of comfort, come to me. This story, just overall, it was barbaric, with some well-used irony, as everything is pretty much supposed to be a more advanced world, but those in charge did not better themselves, since the decay of like the earth, which all gets explained within the story. So there's so many interesting lessons learned, and a lot of hypocritical characters as well. The strategies were super clever, and the story ended up being so powerful that it actually made me conflicted in my star rating, because where I was so unsure about this book from the start and still have like a sour tinge to my whole perspective because of that, I'm still like umming and erming, and it was just really frustrating trying to figure out what star rating to give it because of all those feelings. But I think I'd try my first ever audiobook if I was to read this series on, which I am intrigued by. So I just think it was a bit heavy going to physically read, so perhaps listening to it might give me that boost I need, and it would be probably the book that made me decide to read an audiobook, because up until this day I have not actually ever read or listened to an audiobook. So yeah, I feel like I'm rambling now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed the makeup look, my little review of the palette over there, and also my review of this book. Let me know if you've got the Blood Sugar palette by Jefree Star and what you think of it, and also if you've read or would like to read Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and how, if you have read it without spoiling, does the rest of the books, like, are they thrilling, are they capturing, do they intrigue you quicker than they might have intrigued me in the first book? I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.